population. Recall that the president did not back down on his resolution to implement the tax reform bills at his presidential chat. He, however, reaffirmed his position to open negotiation on the matter. The big question on the show is, will the backing of the governors put an end to the argument on the floor of both chambers of the National Assembly to enable quick passage of the bills into law? Joining me for more on this development is Senator representing Abia North Senatorial District, Orji Kalu. He joins me now from Abuja. Senator, good to have you join us on the program today. Governors seem to have reached a compromise with the Presidential Tax Committee on sharing formula for value-added tax. As a former governor yourself, what is your take about this?
Thank you, Ambassador. I'm very happy New Year to you. Happy New Year, viewers. I'm very glad to be here. And my take is not much. The much is that the governors have already done the needful, which most of the job have been done by them, and which I think is what I have said have been issues since last year when this bill came to National Assembly. I said there will be need for wider and wider consultation, and I'm very thankful to the Minister of CAB, Coordinating Minister of Economy, Dr. Wale Edu, who, with his team, leading Oyedele and leading Zach, the chairman of FIRS, were able to fine-tune this bill very well and get it into the National Assembly. I've always said that this bill is very progressive. We have nothing to doubt about this bill. It's in good faith, and it's in larger part of Nigerian people to have this bill, whether you are a Christian, a Muslim, short or tall, or so the bill is overall interest of Nigeria, because most of our laws and most of the laws of the nation have been very obsolete. So I commend the team that made this bill. And I also want to commend the governors, which they have started in a good note by at least suggesting something. President Tinubu didn't say what I have said is sacrosanct. President Tinubu said, well, there's a room for discussion, and that is what any president should say. And there was room for discussion. So the governors have decided come at least to something. They have offered something. And I expect the governors to go deep down where they said equality 50%, which means everybody must have something on the table. Whether you get something or not, on a quality basis, you get something. On the consumption attribution, they said we can go for 30%, which gets a lot to do. And on population, they say, well, we can go 20%. It makes a lot of meaning to me. There's no difference between what the president is saying and what they are saying. It's just about negotiation. Let me be honest with you. Nigerians and Nigerian people need to look the good part of the bill. And the good part of the bill is the law itself, because this sharing is political. Sharing is just for politics. It's not the real bill in there. We have not addressed in the bill what I would like to see the companies, the manufacturers'
we'll get
interests
to that.
have not
Senator,
been...
Senator Kalu, we'll get to
yes.
that, yes. But still talking about that, because it does appear that the governors has mainly focused on that. You seem to agree with them completely. But one of your colleagues, Ali Ndume, representing Borno Stouts, actually thinks that 30% based on derivation is too much. Do you think that this and maybe some concerns being raised by some other lawmakers could pose a challenge to the successful passage of this bill?
Well, it will not be for my best interest to be defending what any senator said. And Ndume is a very highly respected senator here. I hold him to high esteem. That is his opinion. We cannot, 10% for somebody making the money is going to be very difficult. In fact, I just stand with what the governor said. I hope all my colleagues in National Assembly should come back to look at it. And that is his opinion. And that is not my opinion. My opinion in the floor of the Senate will be what I'm just telling you, because it will be nice for you to repay those who are making the money or where the money is being made. It's not just easy to leave it. I think when Ali Ndume comes with our colleagues, we'll be able to discuss the matter. Ndume is a very respected senator here, and I hold him to high esteem.
All right, Senator. Wait to see how the conversation, among your colleagues go. But let's talk about the personal income tax. What is your take on the current arrangement of this income tax?
Well, I'm not particularly about the income tax. There's nothing to be changed in the income tax. But what I'm more interested is the company tax, which can flow us in foreign direct investment. Because if we are not having new investment, leaving our taxes at 30%, the company tax, I do not support it. I think we should come down about 25, 27% to give room for foreign direct investment, because I would like to see people with money preferring giving manufacturers a sweetener, because every time, because the VAT can even in future, after some time, increase when the quantum of manufacturing is there. That will give the manufacturer to the ability to come to Nigeria. When they are manufacturing in Nigeria, we create jobs, we create opportunity, we create all kinds of things. There are many, many things that follow with manufacturers manufacturing here. And it's going to give absolute confidence to our society and create more jobs to the people of Nigeria.
All right, then. And we know that the governors, appear to have really focused, concentrated on VAT and derivation. But, Senator, another major issue here is defaulters and many non-compliant companies causing low revenue for the government. With reduction, in this tax being received by government, will the purpose of the reforms not be defeated?
No, because the reform is not just about hiking the tax. We can leave it at 30%, but it's not going to bring a lot of foreign direct investment. But that is minor. The most important thing, there is always room to amend these laws as we go on. I don't see anything wrong in putting the laws before us and amending them at any time. This is why we're in National Assembly. We can always amend any law which is not correct at any given time, so which is not bringing sincere play to the table to our people. So I don't see anything. Even if we amend these laws today and it gets tomorrow, we are not fighting with government. We are here to be very helpful to the government, because we want Nigerian people to come out of hunger, to come out of problems. And this is what we are fighting for. President Tinubu is committed to that, and our party as a party, we are committed to that. There's hunger all over the world, not only in Nigeria. You listen to President Trump yesterday, he's talking also about hunger in the land. If you go to Canada, it's hunger in the land. You go to UK, there's hunger in the land. So we must come together without thinking about which political party we belong to, and tell ourselves the truth. We are not telling ourselves the truth as a country. We must come down together and fix ourselves. And when we fix ourselves, Nigerians will be the beneficiary of we fixing ourselves.
But, Senator, the figure being proposed is actually still less, cheaper than what is obtainable in some countries out there. Don't you think that that could, in its own way, also boost foreign direct investment?
No, 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 no. The figure being proposed of 30% for company tax, it's okay, but I'm saying we can have a sweetener by reducing. I'm a manufacturer. You can't expect me to support everything government says. Because I'm a manufacturer, I must give a sweetener, and I'm here as a senator. I represent my constituency, and I also represent the manufacturer's constituency. I must fight for the manufacturer. I might be a lone voice, but my voice must be heard. Whether you like it or not, I cannot just tell you that what you have proposed for the manufacturers is the best. No, I'm a manufacturer myself, and the Manufacturer Association of Nigeria will be looking at me and say, what are these our members? What did they say when they were there? And this has to be in record that I defended the interests of the manufacturer, because the manufacturing sector of Nigeria is very low. If we really want to come out of our problems, we must go back to production, and our production will bring us to manufacturing. We must go back to our farms. We must, if you see a country like China, which people say they lack human rights, they don't obey any law, they don't do this and they don't do that. China, for the last 40 years, have grown by 10% GDP every year for the last 40 years, 4 decades. So for us, we need to go back to the farms. There are certain things government needs to do to bring back people. Look at number of people we have out of school. Look at number of people we have out of road. If we have those people, we must be able to function well. All those trader money, the last government, I advised them to remove the traders' money and put it into farm. Because when you put 500 billion, you say you dash people 500 billion, and we don't know where 500 billion is going to be coming from, and you dash it out. This 500 billion can be given to people to go and cultivate crops, different crops from all parts of Nigeria by senatorial district. People can have, each senatorial district can have 10 billion to do different part of things. Giving to businessmen, I'm not saying giving to senators, giving to businessmen on 1%. And the 500 billion will still be belonging to federal government. Than saying that there is trader money and we share the money on the street. And like one minister came to the Senate in the 9th Assembly and said that she shared 54 billion in 2 weeks. I asked her, do you know what is 54 billion? Because these are the kind of lies and things I see government people do that is not right. So I think we must go back to production.
All right, Senator, I see, you wear many hats as a politician, as a manufacturer. We'll get to explore this some more when we return from this break. You're watching Beyond 100 Days. We're talking about the Nigeria tax bills, and my guest is Senator representing Abia North Senatorial District, Orji Kalu. Senator, before we went on break, you identified the fact that as a manufacturer, a whole lot goes in, and especially marrying that with politics. How do we create a balance? Where do we draw the line, with politicians who appear to act always like Oliver Twist, always wanting more and more?
No. I'm not being a politician when I said as a manufacturer. The interest of manufacturers, if we really want to put this economy down and put it on the straight line to be running, the interests of manufacturers have to be protected. I am asking, nothing has been done for the manufacturers. I'm asking the federal government to look a way where they can give some of them tax holidays, give them incentive to manufacture and all the rest of them. So there are a lot kind of things we need to do, because I believe Nigeria can manufacture goods that will be sufficient for entire part of this part of West Africa, let me not say Sub-Saharan Africa. But we can't be able to beat the numbers and make less imports to other countries by giving our manufacturers in Nigeria a real incentive and give them light. You can see the pricing of fuel is very high for them. The prices of electricity has gone very high, and there's no incentive for people to manufacture. So manufacturers are even suffering. But I know that will make a case to President Tinubu, because we support absolutely for economy to be stable. And President Tinubu has been very bold in making decisions. He's one of the courageous presidents that this country have had since independence. He's very courageous. And President Tinubu have shown that he can make decisions without caring about whether there's anything called second term or any term, but he's making bold decisions that will reclassify the economy and put the economy on the path of growth. We started with countries like Indonesia, Malaysia, Singapore, and all the rest of them. Today, we are far behind them. So we need to get back to where we're supposed to do. Wrong economy. If there is no competition in this economy, we're not going to go anywhere. You see all the provinces in China where they're growing at 10% for 40 years. It's because there are competition among the provinces. So when people come and tell me, Dr. Michael Okpara, Alaji, Chief Abafemi Awolowo, and the Sultan of Sokoto, all the rest of them, and Dennis Osadebe, that they, Ahmadu Bello, they did very well. Yes, they did very well because there was competition. So, and what I can see, that President Tinubu is trying to bring back that competition on the table, where people have to compete. Every state in Nigeria, 36 states and Abuja, all of them are very viable. I'm not part of those who say they are not viable. These people can wear their thinking cap. They can go back. There's no state in Nigeria that is not viable. If they are not viable in oil, they are viable in food. If they are not viable in food, they are viable in solid mineral. If they are not viable in solid mineral, they are viable in human resources. So can use their brain to do technology. So this country is well blessed, and we should not take it for granted. And Nigerian people, I can tell you, most of us are very lazy. You see people loitering in Abuja looking for work when there are a lot of work to do in the farms, when there are a lot of work to do in area. When you give people, Chinese economy and American economy is based on production. It's based on the support people give to people.
All right, Senator. And of course, we know that you are a friend to the president, at least with recent visits to him during the holiday. What is your advice to him in handling the opposing voices against the bills?
No, president is doing what the president should do. He's doing negotiation with them. And there are a lot of backdrop discussions going on. And the president is not keeping quiet. He's behaving what a democratic president should do. For instance, you see what the governors have done. And I'm sure he had talked to some Muslim ulamas in last year. He's been able to talk to some leaders of all kinds of leaders. He's speaking to them collectively and individually. So there's a lot of discussion, background discussion going. But I'm also to tell you that the Senate, through the Senate president, committed this bill to public hearing, which is the evidence of that the law is on. Let people come and say the pros and the cons of the bill. We respect every opinion. We respect everybody who has anything to say by this bill. But I want to say that we cannot totally allow just because we are producing our bill to take everything. So the governors have started on good note. It's a continuous discussion. What I'm saying now, I might come on the floor of the House. The senators might say that what the governors are looking for is not visible. It's possible. It's going to go by the vote in the House of Rep and the Senate.
I hear your point, Senator, and of course, a lot still lies on the table of the lawmakers. But let's talk about the state of the economy. We are talking, there are reports about the NCC approving the request by telcos for, an increase in tariff to about 50%. What is your take about that?
Well, everybody is asking for increase. There's nobody that is not asking for increase in Nigeria. It's the take is that we should start being, as a country, as people, we should start being disciplined. People should stop wasting their telephones. People should stop making unnecessary calls. People should stop doing things that are not relevant. I had some friends over the weekend. They came to my house after church, and they saw that I put off my lights almost everywhere, because where I live, I'm paying almost 600,000 naira every week on the electricity. So I have to learn how to live like if I'm living in the US or in London or Canada, that any room there's nobody, we put up the lights. Nigerians are taking a lot of things for granted. We should learn how to use something. I'm not happy with the tariff. I'm not happy that they are taxing people so much, but that is what the day says. But President Tinubu is working very hard to get us out of this problem.
I hear you, Senator, but I'm curious to ask, are you also walking the talk? Are you also
I'm not hearing you, please.
I'm asking about whether you are also walking the talk of cutting back or cutting down on, some of these excesses that you have put in.
Sure, I'm doing it. People see me now on commercial flight. I've dropped my private jet. I'm not using it, and I'm flying commercial plane. I'm putting off lights in my house. I'm putting off most air conditioners in my house. I'm using more or less fuel. I'm going on less. The president directed the ministers to go with 3 cars. I'm using less cars to move around. I dropped some of my aides not to follow me around when it's not necessary. So this is what we are saying. Nigerians should know how to start managing what we have.
Senator representing Abia North Senatorial District, Senator Orji Kalu, thank you very much for your time on the program today.
Thank you.
Well, that's our program. Watch a repeat broadcast at midnight and at 6 a.m. I am Abosedi Adeniraderemi.